up my appetite. Don't leave me here high and dry. Oh, well, I don't wanna jinx it, baby, and twist myself at the spine. Don't wanna overthink it, baby. Just twist your body and mine. Baby, you give me ice and fire. You're giving me wind and rain. You're some kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me midnight. You whip up my appetite. Don't leave me here high and dry. Oh, but I don't wanna jinx it, baby. Let's not get ahead of my time. Oh, but I don't wanna miss you, baby. So I stand up and speak my mind. Oh.
This episode is brought to you by Beaded by Cedes. Cedes can provide you that flair we like around our waistline. She can provide that in your favorite color, also with your favorite reptile charm. Check out Beaded by Cedes on Instagram and on Facebook. All Maryland Reptile Show has been the longest running Maryland Reptile Show in the DMV area. Thank you for bringing us quality animals for the longest time.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome, welcome. Thank you for joining us today. I'm very excited to have this guest on. And as you know, in light of everything that's going on, a lot of this conversation is going to be surrounded around Florida. There is nothing more important right now than Florida for us as reptile keepers and breeders. Stressing keepers and breeders. We're going to have some very candid conversation today, and I'm going to let Jay lead most of that conversation. And even in our backstage conversation, guys, is just some things that needs to be brought to light. And I think that, you guys will be shocked about some of these statistics as I am. And then some of it I'm not, because I can just tell by basic conversations where we are with this. So let me start by saying, great to have you all in the chat. Please remember, I know that this is a very passionate time for all of us, but we want to try to keep it classy, but you can vent. I'm not saying that you shouldn't vent. I'm just saying, just keep in mind that we don't want to say anything that would not make us look like professionals, caring, loving people, although we may feel, what we feel inside about what we saw and what has occurred. I can be honest, it's hard for me to subdue my passion, but I'm working on all the things that it tells me to do in therapy. If you guys watch my last video, I spoke very slow. That is part of conditioning myself to not get overly passionate and upset. So you will see me do that throughout this show today as well. So I just want to welcome everybody. 905, Stan. Let's see. Mitzi is in the chat. I think I might have missed some of you guys because I actually just kind of came into it. Eric, Nora Kim, good morning. Good morning, everyone. Rock, good morning. If I miss you, just forgive me. I do want to bring our guests on and kind of get the show started. But thank you, everybody, for your support. And we're going to talk about support a lot. You're going to hear that word a lot. This is a very depressing time, but I also think that it's also a time that we can take advantage of. I think that, like I was saying to Jay, Florida has never had, when it comes to reptile keeping, this much focus on Florida. And we have the upper hand. You guys have the upper hand because you never had a visual to go to what everybody has been saying for so long. I can tell you that, myself, I've been communicating daily every night through chat with Elizabeth and Kevin McCurley. And just video I shared with you was just something that Kevin shot to me the other day. And I share that with you guys. If you haven't watched that video, I encourage you to do so. It's also in the link of, I believe, this video as well. If not, it's definitely in the link of the last video I did. So tune in and watch that as well. So to no further delay, I want to bring on our wonderful guest. And Jay is just amazing. If you guys know, welcome Jay, welcome.
How you doing, guys?
Is, as we were saying, it's unfortunate, guys, that this time comes after a very high, and I want to talk about that first. A couple weeks ago, Jay actually literally shut himself in his exterior reptile enclosure, not the fancy basement, not the fancy living room, bedroom, sneakers that we have, the beautiful outside enclosure in Florida. Now, although we know that can be very beautiful, there's elements out there, and we saw storms come through on poor Jay. Jay tortured his whole body pretty much for us, including, putting on a bikini, which was funny. I went in for, I couldn't wait. So let me just tell y'all the story. So out of everything that you did, Jay, you know what was the most for me, and I couldn't wait to get you to do it, was the worms. So
oh man, yeah.
I was like, they were staggering to get to that milestone. Y'all was like, oh, I wanted to do it before I started my show that Saturday. So we pushed them there, and you ate them like a champ. And I was sitting here like,
yeah. So we made that the first milestone, thinking it wasn't gonna be something too much of an effect, but it was. It wasn't a few of them. It was probably over a 50-60 count of mealworms. And it was it was something different, but once again, thank you everybody that supported and was along that ride. It was an amazing fundraiser.
And what was the end amount? 10,000 and what again?
We reached $10,650.
Wow. And
so
that's
we raised a little bit over 10,000.
So that's one person, right? Jay, and of course, you had support in the background. There were some people, like I woke up, my granddaughter woke me up, y'all. Let me tell you this story, like 4:00 in the morning. He is not sleeping. And I'm like, who? Who's not sleeping? The man, he's still on. And you were on, though, with like 2 or 3 other people. And I'm like, it's 4:00 in the morning. So you had major support. Kayla and Max was out of this world. Poor Kayla, I don't know how she did everything that she was doing. It was amazing. How did you mentally prepare for that? Because he did not sleep.
To be honest with you, it was a total of, if I could put it together, it was a total maybe of almost 43 hours, because I had to, the night before, I had to make sure that all the animals were in good condition, they were fine. I had to bring in the tortoise and actually put him inside of an enclosure with some monitors that kind of kept the same temperature, so he would be able to digest his food and be able to hold some heat. And that morning, I could not sleep. So I wasn't even mentally prepared. I was overwhelmed because I knew what happened last year. And last year I didn't think we would reach the 7,000 that we did last year. So this year I was so excited because I believed that we were going to meet those expectations. So I couldn't sleep. So I woke up very early, took care of the house, made sure all the animals were good, fed the animals, and before I got into the enclosure, I just sat outside on my steps looking at the enclosure, and I'm not gonna lie, I was praying and I said, God, I need that strength. I need I need you to guide me and keep me in the direction where not only me but many believe what we can do. And I prepared everything I needed to prepare in there. I actually lost space. Like last year we had more space than what I did this year. As I had the table, I had the laptop, we had the container with the water balloons, because I couldn't leave that enclosure for 36 hours. and I was just mentally just asking God to be my guidance, and let it be, amazing, let it be an impact, and let us hope that many can make a change. I don't mean to upset people, but it's like sometimes people got to do something for certain people to step up. Um, and I'm not saying me, you know what I'm saying, because there's many
Right.
people who have done great things out there, but um, and having Kayla from Military Morph and Christina from Genetic North being a big support
Yes,
system,
Christina too. Exactly.
yeah, and believing in me, which not only them but the whole general public. Thank you guys for believing in me. We went in there ready to fight for whatever it was, and it wasn't just raising money, it wasn't just animals and auctions, it was so much more than that. It was a connection with people, it was getting other people involved to speak on what they feel,
Yep.
meeting new people, and it was amazing. It was amazing.
It really was. I enjoyed it, and I think out of the 36 hours, I probably missed a total of 8. And it was like, and every time I woke up, I couldn't like wait to just see what was going on or where you guys were. I think it was that Saturday evening. It was just incredible. Like it was like I think I last saw 7,000, and then it went from I don't know what happened. Did someone come in and give like a great big donation between it?
So what it was so have you seen the milestones? We had the first milestone that was eating the bug.
Right.
Um,
I made that one happen. That one was going down.
second milestone was something that I think it was kind of like my worst. It was the 2 habaneros. Um, as it that was the second milestone,
Right.
but everybody was actually itching for the waxing in the bikini. Um, but as the waxing occurred, people
Happy enough?
they weren't happy with just the regular waxing of the legs and stuff like that. They wanted more things. So I said before the fundraiser that one thing I would not do is shave my eyebrows or wax my eyebrows. But we had a gentleman that came in and said, "I'll donate 500 right now if you take an eyebrow." And I was joking. I spoke to Kayla off camera after this, and I said, "Yo, Kayla, you know what's funny? I was joking." But then Kayla said,
He said
Kayla looked at her iPad and she said, "Jay," and I said, "What?" She said she showed the $500 donation, and I said, and I'm gonna be honest, I'm a man of my word. Whatever it is, I'm a man of my word. And I said, okay. And it took a little bit, but I took the eyebrow off. And then it kind of kept people happy and in a good spirit as I kept drawing like weird little different eyebrows and stuff like that as the milestones and time kept passing. Um, then it got to the point where we was passing the milestone. We got to the bikini and we were there. We were there at that 7,000, but that 7,000 was kind of moving slow. But people were itching for the bikini, and we had Billy come in.
Billy came on.
Billy's a big inspiration, and to be honest, he's a good friend. We speak at good times, and I feel humbled for. Let me just say this real quick. I truly appreciate everybody that has been a part of my life. Um, you would ask me a couple years back if I'd ever seen myself in the footsteps where I'm at, and I'll say no. Um, and man, I'm very grateful for the opportunity that God has given me, man.
Yeah.
It's so amazing. So to speak to all the big names and all you guys from the general public and you guys showing me love and support is amazing. So, we had Billy that came in and sharing the love and support, telling me because Billy was there last year too, and he said, "Look at what you did last year to what you're doing now." He's like, you're a good impact to people." And we was talking and all that, and then he goes, "What's your next milestone?" And I'm like, the bikini that a lot of people is waiting for. He's like, "Where are you now?" I told him. Instantly, Billy sends the rest of the money. I think it was a little over $600 to meet that milestone, and he's like, "Put that bikini on." And it got to that bikini where I was already no eyebrows. My daughter waxed the bottom of my lip where I had a little cut. I had patches everywhere. I looked like a dog with mange. Um, it was
It was fun.
it
And
was
shout out to Billy because he hung out a long time.
yeah.
He hung out for quite some time.
It went crazy. And then from there, it was, man, everybody was putting in work where we was killing it the last 2 hours of that fundraiser. And shout out to Kayla and Max, how they ran that auction in Genetic Nerd at the last 2.5 hours, man. They pushed through auctions like I
And
don't
shout
even
out
know
to
how to
Max.
say it.
Max pressed 1,000 pounds with his legs.
Yeah,
I felt
yeah.
it.
He did
Through
a thousand,
the
a
internet.
thousand and 1,018 pounds on his legs. He took mostly all the plates from the gym.
We watched it live. It happened for real. I was like, oh no. And I'm just thinking, I just feel like my bones would have broke at that particular point. But he did it like it was nothing and continue on about his day. So shout out to Max. I did want to ask, with your medical concerns, how did you convince your wife to do the extra 12 hours this year? Like, what did she say? Because I know how we are. Because when you say certain things, we can. I mean, not to say she care less, but our initial thing is we care less about anything else, right?
Yeah. So, um, so for those that kind of don't understand what I'm dealing with, I've had I hang behind a smile. I don't try to get people too concerned. I don't try to, it's not that I don't like to put my business out there. I know there's a lot of things going on in this world. I know a lot of people are dealing with crazy bills and all that, and I don't like to put people in concern. But the last couple years it's been the worst that I've ever felt. My life has gone through a big downfall, and from the seizures and being almost a year and a half where I've been getting different testings, and having my wife, who's the only one that's been working to help me with the co-payments and all that for the doctors, it's been rough, But a couple months ago, we actually went for a testing in the University of Miami, where they did an EEG scan on my head and an MRI. But that MRI, they did a deep MRI testing. And they found, I always forget because my wife is the one. I don't like reading.
Yeah, she said what it was. It's not that we would have been able to repeat it anyway, but pretty much, I think what she was saying that is a blockage that's in different places, from what I understand.
It's on the left side of my brain where the left side. So the left side of your brain, if you guys don't know, it operates where it comes from your communication, your speech, your ability to learn, and something else. But the left side of my brain, there is a blockage where it's basically like a lesion where it's causing blood clots, and the blood clots are actually causing the seizures. So I can't even stand here and say that I'm epileptic, because I'm not. Epilepsy and having seizures from other conditions are totally separate. Yeah, totally separate. But we finally found out what it was, and this is where the left side of my brain is having issues, where it's causing blood clots, it's causing issues with the seizures, and it is connected to a vein that's actually giving me the leg spasms that I've been having on my legs. So I'm on different type of medications, but my wife, yes, she's concerned. Always get concerned with anything I do, but there you go. It's the extra veins that create blood clots and then throws him into seizures. My wife, and that's my wife, by the way, guys.
Yep.
My wife, it doesn't matter. Sometimes she does tell me to stop. She says, I don't, she always says I'm crazy. She's like, I don't know how you can do this type of things.
Right.
But she's a big support system. She stands behind me on anything I want to do, whether it's putting myself on the line. She knows how much I love the general public. She knows how much I love kids and how much I love this hobby. So she stands by me in support. And even though sometimes she may not want me to do things, if I want to do it, she says, all right, I'll back you up. So that night, those 36 hours, I didn't take my sleeping medications or my seizure medication, because they make me drowsy. They make me tired. And sometimes I get really tired where I just have to lay down. So I sacrificed it and didn't take these medicines. And I just left it in the hands of God. And I said, my heart, I'm not doing anything in a bad intention. I'm doing it for the general public, and I'm just trying to make a change. And if I always say to God, if it's my time to go, let me at least make a difference first. You know, let me be a positive impact before I go. But you know, God is amazing, and we did those 36 hours. It was a little bit stressful. I was tired. I went through pain and all that, but we made it happen. We made it
So
happen.
it's amazing because watching it, it looked like nothing but fun, except for it was probably about one point when it rained really, really bad. You know, that you could see that was wearing on you at a certain point. It was lit.
Yeah, I think I stood in one spot, like literally one small pocket for about 4.5 hours.
Yes, and I kept worrying about. I just hope he's physically okay. But it was so much fun. So I want to thank you for that. But I want to go into the next subject, and I'm going to preface this with this.
No worries.
Yeah. So this is what Jay sacrificed. You hear? He sacrificed his being, his health, his life, because that's what it comes down to. It with his condition. Anybody knows if you have any type of lesions on the brain, even if it's related to something to like multiple sclerosis, for example, stress on your body causes it to be reactive, like or active. Yes. So I think what I'm about to say, I have to say it the way, like I said, Jay, we're going to have this candid conversation. This was a shocking statistic to me. So for myself, preparing myself, and as I said to Jay, to fly into Miami, I live in Maryland. I am not a resident of Miami. Many people who will fly into Miami May 10th and 11th are not from Florida, right? And I get everybody can't be there in person. I also get this constant conversation you see, especially on the FWC report Facebook page that they have created, not FWC. Someone created the page and you can invite it on. It's pretty much where we have a discussion about what's going on with Mr. Coffee and his animals. And, you know, what US Arc Florida is doing. It's pretty much updating, and it's a good place to get the pulse of the public, I think. And it's amazing to me as a Maryland resident, how many people are afraid of Florida government because we function different here up north. And I said this to Jay. I understand a lot of people are afraid, but what else could someone do? And the statistic that I'm about to share with you guys is, let's say, for instance, and mind you, we brag about it all the time. Florida has the greatest population of reptile keepers and breeders, people who are making money off the sales of reptiles. Jay just raised by himself almost $11,000 by sacrificing his health, sitting in enclosure for 36 hours, entertaining us, communicating with us, who could go to sleep because I slept. You know, he couldn't, but we slept. Even poor Kayla had to take a nap. I don't know how she stayed up as long as she can pregnant. And people were donating. I mean, not to put it out there, I donated significantly through those 2 days. It was a pleasure to do so because for me, that was the least I could do because you were sacrificing it all at that particular point. But Jay, I want you to share with everybody in this chat. So I share, and I share this in my personal chat where there is some Florida breeders. And shout out to my crew. They showed up. They was there with you. Some of them, they get it, and they're going to be there with us May 10th and 11th. But a lot of breeders say I have to stay under the radar, and you can do that, but can't you donate money? And I'm going to say it, Jane. You're going to elaborate on it. Out of all the money that has been collected by Jay, we're not counting. We don't even know about Florida, US Arc Florida itself. We're talking about Jay, his individual self. 95% of those donations come from out of state, not people living in Florida. How in the can that be? Jay, go ahead. You can elaborate on it because I'm not making this up. He would know.
No. You're 100% correct. So let's start by saying that through that whole money that we raised, 5,000 and some change came from the auctions, and the rest came from straight donations. So shout out to you guys that were just even willing to donate, not doing it out of expectations from getting an animal or donating and not saying expecting in a bad way, but receiving something back out of that donation. Just the donation straight from the bottom of your heart. Um, oof. Yeah, I did a live a couple days ago, and man, I'm trying to better myself with getting upset, but yes, creative reptiles. It's frustrating.
So
It's frustrating that we have out of state people that is fighting for USARK and also is fighting for USARK Florida. As we all understand, USARK Florida and USARK Nationals, two separate organizations. But man, to have a bigger population of people out of state coming in to fight for USARK Florida than Florida's residents. I just want everybody to know, if you're a Florida resident and you know what we do, I don't have to shout out your name. You know that you're making a difference. But there's people out there that are really big names, people that are shop owners, people that keep big facilities. Look what Tiki's Gecko did, man. Not only this year, but last year.
Yeah.
And he's a good friend. I visited his home and we spoke, and he's an amazing person. But we have so much big names here, big ball python keepers, man. The ball python game is $1 million industry, and then 95% of people in the world have ball pythons. You keepers here in Florida couldn't step up and at least donate it.
So,
I'm not saying that I wanted you to come in and show yourself or any. No. You could have just sat back and made not even a donation here on what I was speaking about, but go to USARK.
And you said that the entire time. So, like for me, I donated everywhere. I donated to the Cash App, to the PayPal, and I swear into US Florida website on purpose, right? And I do that because I know from working in property management that if you donate in one spot, like you might not see Yelp might not pick up what Google saw. So that's why I did what I did.
Right.
Now, let me reverse though. I get that you may be afraid, people in Florida, breeders in Florida very specifically. And the reason why I say breeders in Florida first, because you're making money from it. You're making an income from the industry, and nothing wrong with that. I too will be breeding animals with hopes to making an income, but I was a pet keeper first.
Hey, I'm afraid too. I'm just a keeper. I'm a hobbyist. So
Jay just blanked out. So my question is, how is that? Someone shared with me in the response that I cannot put my stuff out there. You can donate anonymously. You can go to the GoFundMe right now and donate anonymously.
And if you can't donate, you can contact senators. You could contact senators. You could drop emails. You could, man. I probably contacted over 15 different news stations all around the world and shared the news of what happened with Coffee and McAdam. You don't have. I'm gonna be honest with you. There's no excuse. There's no excuse. If you want to make a difference, you can make a difference anyway. I'm afraid. I put myself on the line, but I've always believed that the good that we do, God sees it. God sees the good that we do, and we can't. We got to be 10 steps ahead of the problem. And we got to, even though it might seem like we're drowning, man, that little bit at the end can make a difference. And we can't do it alone. This is why we need all the help possible. And we didn't get it by certain big names, but once again, shout out to everybody that donated and was a part of that. That's what truly means a lot. And thank you all for taking time out of your day. Sacrificing, the money that you work hard for, knowing that after the pandemic, it's been rough for a lot of people. And thank you guys for still helping to make a difference. From the bottom of my heart, I truly appreciate that.
To what Jay is saying, it's been rough for a lot of people, but there's still a lot of breeders who can go set up at shows, sell animals, travel to different states to do this as well. So if that breeder can drop just $50, because let me just keep it honest with you guys, real. We can keep saying, email the senators and all. If you ever worked in the atmosphere of government and legislation, everything is money driven.
100%.
Everything is money driven. You can bark all you want to. I mean, I'm sure y'all watched the daggone on the Flint, Michigan hearings. You know, like how many hearings have these people had? It's like an everyday meeting, right? But nothing is getting done. You can bark all you want. What needs to, that's right, Mike. Cash rules everything around me and them. You know what I mean? Like it's period. And if you don't show up for yourself, the struggle is that now I'm going to show up just because I get it, you know, but I'm what you call an old head. I get it because I've seen the evolution of reptile keeping and I like where it is right now. Like I said to Jay, I like the fact that we can have a live and we're talking about, hey, I got this, I got that, I got this, I got that. And it's okay in most states.
Right.
Okay, Jay.
Right. And people don't understand too with the fight that, USARC and USARC Florida deals with, just think about this. Fighting court cases, man, it's a lot of money, but just think about the fact that they have to pay, lawyer fees of sometimes minimum of $600 for an hour.
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna have a phone call with your attorney, $150 for 15 minutes.
Just imagine, and you got people that are fighting for you to have the right to keep your animals that don't even know you. And we just had Daniel do probably over 22 interviews in the last couple of days. Can you imagine how tired and fatigued he must feel? He must feel what I felt in the 36-hour live. And we got love and support for them, and that's why I think Kayla, being from Michigan, and she stood by me on everything I believed. And she's like, man, she's always told me, she's like, I give you props. She's like, and I love you for all the hard work that you put in. And I'm like, I feel like we have to. It's not that we choose to. We have to stand there and fight next to them, and do everything in our power to try to make a difference.
And you can't get complacent. You can't forget what happened last week. So let me tell y'all what I do. As hard as it is, every morning that I get up, I watch just a portion of that video. So I can be triggered daily to do something that reminds everybody what occurred. I want to shout out right now too to Tim from Intrepid Exotics. If I don't remind myself, Tim posts something or shares something that reminds me. I can count on that. I want to shout out Jessica Hare from the Holdback Rat. She posts something, and she's not even a personal friend of mine, but she's posting publicly, so therefore I can share and see her information.
Right.
Shout out to her. Bosa Balls. So many people. Everybody who has done a live and everything. I'm saying this to say we can't be quiet. We have to get off our asses and our cash, and we have to support USARC Florida. Wouldn't it be amazing if Mr. Coffee didn't even have to create a GoFundMe? Because that's something else I've seen. Oh, he created a GoFundMe for personal gain. No.
Man, yeah. We
lost.
Oh man, people even questioning the amount. Oh, why does he need this much money, man? This is the thing. People always question when it involves money. And I'm sorry, I'm just gonna say the ignorant people. They want to question. Why they need this, but they're not questioning what happened. You don't have to question.
You know what happened in this case.
Look at what happened.
We had
a bunch of animals that were murdered. We had animals that were put down. They were illegal. We had animals that were put down. There was microchip and were put in conditional species list, not the prohibited. They were able to keep until these animals were dead. We had FWC who put down animals that didn't even follow all their protocols. And you guys are not worried about that. I seen a video where these two gentlemen, I'm not gonna put nobody's name out there, but they were defending FWC, and I said, this is something else. You're a keeper yourself, and you're saying like, oh, it happened. Like, oh yeah, that was supposed to happen. I don't understand where your mind is at. I really don't understand.
Yeah, I can't. And this is something I can tell you. One of the things that I was pleased to see People who otherwise at one point thought they would kill a snake will no longer kill a snake because they saw what it really happens when they see. Like the public's reaction to that has, for the most part, you got some weirdos who I love dealing with them. I really do. I love dealing with the weirdos. But you have most of the public like, what the hell? That's not right. Why would they do that? People who don't even like snakes has seen that video and
100%.
like, yo, what is that? You know, what's up with that? So it is some good that comes out of, unfortunately, the loss of Bill McAdam and Mr. Coffee. That there's some good that comes out of it. And I said this to Elizabeth. I'm a believer of God. I'm a believer in faith as well. I do believe everything happens for a reason. But what my message and what I'm trying to get everybody to see is that, and Jay, you kind of touched on this before we got on, nothing that changed in history. Nothing. And I bring up, I use Baltimore for example. I don't know how many of y'all were involved in the whole Freddie Gray thing, right? Or seen it when Baltimore pretty much burned down Baltimore. They was over it, right? I was born and raised in Baltimore. At the time, didn't live there, but I'm about an hour and 15 minutes away. I can't say that I agreed with everything that Freddie Gray did that led up to the time that he actually was in police custody and died. I can't say that committing crimes was right. I can't say that being a drug addict and being defensive with the police was right. But what I can say is the man shouldn't have died in the custody of the police, regardless of what he did. And Freddie Gray is the reason why you see body cams everywhere. Freddie Gray set the precedent of the body camera. So I say this. Martin Luther King or Malcolm X, anybody who actually fought for something. Sometimes, guys, it get really bad before it gets good.
Yeah.
But your decision on how the outcome is going to be depends on how you react to the bad.
100%.
Are you going to stand together? If what happened to Mr. Coffee happened in Maryland, y'all, I promise you, it will be protests at Annapolis right now. They are not, we would not go down. The people would be in front of that place right now.
This is what we're hoping to happen is a protest here, but we're just following certain protocols right now. As we spoke to Daniel, and we got some messages. We just want to make sure that things are okay in the legal defense, and then we could try to start a protest. I'm down for
it. I'm hoping you don't have to protest.
I'm ready to do whatever it takes, because it is true what you said. Sometimes we got to battle through the storm to see sunshine, and we can't just expect everything to be, beautiful and all that. And I feel 100% in my heart that had to happen to wake up, the officials, the people that work under them, and question the fact that, are people really following their legal protocols? And they're not. I don't mean to put it out there, but we just seen that an FWC officer was just released because they found them with child pornography. Who's the people that are under you?
Right. And who did the background? On that individual. Absolutely. And let us clarify, the person who was arrested for pornography is not any of the men who actually are in the murdering snakes. So that's a whole different, none of them have been arrested. Now, Jay, has there been any public talk about them being arrested? Have y'all heard any response yet back on about what's happening?
No. So the weird thing about this, what's been going on, is the fact that, let's go back to the emails and the messages that have been going around. All the emails that are getting sent to the government are now being sent to FWC. Certain people's messages that are sent to the government are being sent to FWC. And do you even think that gives us a chance? They don't even want to respond back to the general public. They just want to send it to you, FWC, and let them take care of the issue. What? It's hard to understand what's going on. Nobody has been arrested. Nobody has been in question.
Has Florida made any public statement? I've seen a bunch of national news. Has there been any public response from Florida Floridians, people living in Florida, have the news taken any public response? Because that pause is definitely.
And then we've had the message from which I'm kind of upset about, is the message on everybody who posts this, the news articles who post this, they speak about accidental. We have the officials who've seen the label of the boa constrictor about 2 to 3 times. We've had people like, Boza Balls, who thank you, he had posted a video in slow motion that showed the official looking at the cage.
That video went viral on TikTok. Good job, Boza.
Yes, the video of him looking at the label prior, after, then when they take the snake out, which I was upset about how they took every snake out, like literally strangling it. So obviously you put in the snake in the defense mode where it's gonna react. And after they kill the snake, the other official with the blue shirt looks at the label and looks at his buddy and said, like, basically, we messed up, but then shuts his shoulders like, oh well, like, what? If that doesn't have a legal right to fight in court, I really don't understand. I really don't.
I think you have to drill in to the people. The time is now. Like Eric keeps saying, what happened in the past? Forget the past. Show me a video such as this that has went national, such as this, that has reached out of the country, such as this. And I will tell you then, okay, maybe you're right, but it hasn't occurred. And I know that because I've talked directly with Elizabeth. Nothing of this magnitude has ever occurred visually and circulated to the extent that it has ever. So this sets a new precedent that now people visually see. Like, you can say one thing, the lady killed her husband, but if you saw how she killed her husband, you might see her totally different.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's a thing now where it's out there, it's in the public light, it's national, everybody's talking about it. And I know Bosa spends a lot of time watching the different social medias, Jay, like again, Jessica Hare, because a lot of it, she's actually, putting out there and resharing things like that. But people like that, like putting that information out constantly. Anything somebody posts that, I deem that's valid enough, I don't want to be sharing stupid stuff. Like, I'm not going to share the question of why does he need $250,000?
Right.
Can you just donate your little $10 that you was going to donate or whatever you was going to donate and not question the why? Donate your money and hopefully his $250,000 keeps us from ever have to spend our own money. Hopefully, donating to U.S. or Florida keeps us from having to tap into our own savings if and when. Because this is another thing, and I've even thought about this. People keep saying what they would do if the law walked into their house. Y'all, I love all these animals, right? And I thought about this. Me and my husband had to keep talking about this rationally. As much as I would want to go grab every gun I have and shoot and kill, you're not going to do that if you're a mother. You're not going to do that if you're a grandmother. You're not going to do that unless you want to spend the rest of your life in prison. I think that most of us, even at the extent of losing our animals, or if this was, like I said, my animals are like my children. If someone was coming here to get the police was coming in to get one of my children, I'm not going to shoot and kill him. I'm not. I might get some good daggone attorneys and fight, but I'm not. Would I want to? Absolutely. Would my husband have to talk me out of it multiple times during the process? Absolutely. But I think when I hear people say, oh, that wouldn't have happened, I'd have did this. No, you wouldn't have. I'm sure Mr. Coffee wanted to blow every head off once he saw the first shot to his sperm. But you can't. That's not the reaction that's going to keep you free or safe. So what can we do? We can fight together. We band a hand. Bring it all together from out the state. We get it. Our Florida family is fearful, guys. So you know what we got to do? We got to show up for them and support them. My goal is to see at minimum 200 people behind Daniel and Elizabeth representing from around the country, because your governor wants to be president. It ain't just about the Florida votes. It's about all of our votes now. And he needs to know that we are in every state in the United States, reptile owners. He needs to know that some of us do own restricted animals. Because another thing I think that what needs to change out of this, Jay, I would like to see is that you guys can keep under some structure and guidelines retics and burns. Because I think Jeremy said it best. Captive animals is not your problem.
Right.
In Florida. And if you're microchipping these animals, when someone purchased one, you know who it belongs to, and then you hold that fool, and I say fool, accountable, because this is another side, y'all. As pet owners, sometimes we cause our own damn problems. If you have, I look at these animals, not one. If DMX never loved me, I would have never put him outside. I would have never said, this me and this snake just can't see eye to eye, I'm going to throw him outside. It's not fair to the animal. You chose to purchase that animal. What you do is you properly rehome it. And in Maryland, thank God, we're fortunate to have enough science centers and the natural brag centers and all of that will take an animal in if you really wanted to donate it or if you couldn't find a place to rehome it. So what I'm hoping for this to come out of this, and here's your time to get some of your rights back as well. No one is saying that there's not a problem, but I shared the video. We know the problem is not just burns in Florida. We know that it is actually FWC and pesticides in Florida. I have watched 6 videos over the last 24 hours and they acknowledge it. In some of these videos, guys, you see the FWC representative acknowledging what they did was causing an issue. Killed alligators, killed birds.
Let's speak about the fact when they were speaking about the issue with the iguanas and all that, and they started allowing people to put down iguanas. Like, I do understand if animals get overpopulated, but I don't. I'm sorry, and some people might get upset. I don't believe that it's right for you to just go out there and start killing these animals.
Me neither.
Who were created by God for us to just put them down. You know, I had deleted people from Instagram that, you know, guys that I used to follow for a while who cared so much about these iguanas, who had crimson albinos, blue, reds, 6-foot orange males. And now they're on a boat where like 50, 60 plus of them dead and just holding them up like it's a trophy to display to the world. Like, no. Like, I don't understand what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm one who I couldn't keep my tegu and I had to send my tegu to California. You know what I'm saying? My female black and white hair anery, and it hurt. But I was like, okay, you know, I'm not gonna complain because I'm still able to keep the animals that I keep here. But what sucks is we're losing in Florida. And we need all the help we can get. We need it 100%, and we need everybody to stand by us and stop questioning the petty stuff and understand the main reason why we're all here. If you're not in Florida and you're questioning, oh, why do I gotta fight? I'm not in Florida. This is mainly a domino effect. If it affects Florida, say goodbye to your state as soon as it hits your state. From Florida up to the Carolinas to Georgia, up that way, it's gonna start affecting everywhere.
And it already is. Georgia has already been on the chopping block. You already had South Carolina. You already have North Carolina.
Right.
You know, and for me, it's Virginia and Maryland after that. You know what I mean? So I'm in Maryland, and I again want to stress. And Tim, if you're still in the chat, I want to make sure you include this in some of your videos because it's concerning. That 95%, and I'm going to repeat that over and over again, of the donations that came in for U.S. Ark Florida through Jays fundraiser came from residents outside of the state.
Florida, yeah, 100%. And I thank you guys. Like, I applaud everybody. I thank you guys. But, you know, I'll say it again. I'm not a Florida resident. I've been almost 5 years living in Florida. I came from up north. I was excited to live my dream here. I shared exactly the reason why I moved here backstage with homegirl, and I don't want to speak about it too much because I know my wife's here.
Hey, Wayne and Alice.
It's probably going to affect my wife a little bit, but we didn't move here because we chose to move here. We ended up living here.
Right.
And then I got excited because I said, maybe now I could be able to live my dream. and I started living my dreams, and I started learning about all the laws and regulations that were occurring here, it was kind of skeptical, and I said, should I really live here and kind of, play Russian roulette with my animal keeping, and me moving, it's not gonna make a difference. It's not like if I move out of here, it's gonna change anything here. It's still gonna be a fight. So I said, you know what? I told my wife, I was like, I don't care. I'm gonna just stay here and help the fight. And my wife always on anything I believe, she's like, okay, I got your back 100% on whatever you want to do. And started keeping animals with everything that was happening. I just fell in love with being a hobbyist. I have reptiles that are normal with no issues. I have animals that surrendered to me with metabolic bone disease that have gone through prolapses, and me out of my own pocket and stuff, taking them to vets to make sure that I get antibiotics and medicines for them to heal better, and me even dealing with procedures that I have to deal with myself. I have fought for these animals, and as well as I fight for the animals that are dealing with metabolic bone disease to just provide them a longevity, is the same way I provide my service to the reptile community to see longevity on us keeping these animals. And it'll be better if we all hold hands and fight this together than only having a few people fighting and basically staying stuck. So once again, 95% of those donations came out of Florida, and we need basically as much people from Florida to stand up. Shop owners, keepers, breeders, hobbyists, please stand up and help. You want to make yourself a page where you don't display anything about you? Do so and then fight. You want to share emails from somebody else's or create an email where you're really not going to get anything bothered by you? Do so. However it is, you can get, man, the same way there's *67 with a block number to used to call people back in the days. The same way you can use anything to be able to get your voice out there.
And that's right. And the thing is that if you're not doing something, it's because you don't want to do nothing. But don't come after the hits the fan saying, I want to do something now. That's called being reactive. That never works. You have to be proactive. But what makes me excited, this is the best time to be proactive.
100%.
This is the best time. Like nothing like this. This is setting precedent. Nothing like this has ever had the impact. And I'm just gonna go back to when it first happened. The first conversation that I had with Elizabeth was, we gotta get it out there. We gotta get this on all the local news. And I remember replying, no, this has to be national. And then everybody just start sharing and sharing and sharing. US Arc Florida not letting up. And I love that they're being transparent. Like so for people, a lot of these questions you're asking, the answer is already there on US Arc Florida website. Daniel is covering every possible question, concern. He's letting us know what the next steps are. He's letting us know, what's best for us and what's best for us to do moving forward. As Jay said, if Daniel say nope, not no protest yet, that's what we need to follow. We need to follow the direction of US Arc Florida, and we need to support them on everything. Every time they go live, we need to be in those chats, sharing those lives and everything. Most important, you guys know I created my own little personal campaign called the Pull Up. Now I'm laughing at this pitch every time I see it. I don't know if Florida purposely put this man upside down on this advertisement, but this is how it came over to me. But May 10th, May 11th, I'll be flying in on Monday morning, so we're gonna kind of like just relax the day of the 10th. It sounds like the tag meeting is going to be on the 11th, so we plan to hit back over on that side and be there all day, and then hit to the airport and get back home because I got animals having babies. But I will be there, and I'm hoping that everybody else who can. I know everybody is not in a position to say, I'm not working today. I'm going to Miami, right? But this is for such a great cause. Like I said before, calling them. Shout out to Kayla. Hey, Kayla. Yes, Kayla, you made it. Shout out to Kayla. Actually, we gave a shout out to Kayla. We gave a shout out to Tim for everything that y'all doing actively. Bosa, quite a few shout outs just for everybody who's just being amazingly incredible reptile keepers and breeders at this particular time. And I can repeat right now, this is the information for May 10th, May 11th. Make a 2-day vacation out of it, y'all. Make it a week if you can. Why not? But be in Miami, and we're going to support. We're going to be at that tag meeting on the 11th. And I'm sure a lot of the people who live in Florida is going to be there on the 10th. To cover other issues that's going on in Florida. Although I don't think anything right now for anybody is more important than that. And of course, also supporting USARK Florida. And like Jay covered it, support in the way that you can. So we're going to break it down for you. Here we go. If you have the money to donate, donate.
100%.
If you need to become a member, which we want you to become a member, there's also USARK Florida. You don't have to pay to become a member. That's a free membership. However, we know that we're going to be in a legal fight that's not going to last a day. It's not going to last a year. And that's going to cost. So if you can do $10 when you do become a member, give $10. If you can give $5, if you can give $1. All right. So that's one way. Now, if you just want to not give any cash because you can't or you don't want to, that's your right. Can you pull up on May 10th and 11th and just place your body in the place with your other fellow reptile keepers and breeders? So we can show that we're serious. If we can make Florida FWC take you seriously, if you can make Governor DeSantis take you seriously through your voice, your band in the hand, and you're standing together, you will find momentum in this cause that will go out of this world. Change is not going to come through fear. It's going to come through challenge.
Any way to spread awareness.
Exactly. You have to stay vigilant. You can't forget what we saw. You can't be, that's just in Florida. No, it's not just in Florida. So think of Florida as the reptile breeders license plate for reptile breeders, if per se. If you keep an animal, you wouldn't have half of these animals if they did not at one point come through or breed in Florida first.
It's the main battleground. We're in the main battleground.
Always been. So I say that Jay has sacrificed so much of himself consistently. So a lot of us are reactive to this, right? Jay has been proactive, constantly proactive. And honestly, Jay, let's give you some credit. Outside of the donations, what that live also does is it brings awareness. You brought awareness that, because my granddaughter, so y'all saw her on the video. She is passionate about animals, but she never met Jay in her life. She won't forget that she witnessed this man sleeping outside, raising money for the animals that one day that she's also going to breed and love. You know what you do to her at that particular, you just deposited something into her that we won't have to beg her 10 years from now to be active in these situations, because she already learned at 7 years old what that looked like and what that sacrifice is. And we talked about this. Y'all notice I get very emotional about this, because if you know me, breeding is secondary. I didn't start that until 3 years ago. The other 29 years of my life was just loving the animals. The same thing y'all see on Instagram. Hey, baby. Hey, poo. How my honey? Like, all of that has just been what it was. That's just real. Those are my babies. Those are my heart. I can't think of nothing else greater to fight for right now, because I really don't have any other fights in my life.
Right.
I get that other people might, but there's a lot of people that I see that you have time to chill and do everything else. If you anything that you're passionate about, you're going to fight for. 100%. In a relationship, if your girlfriend says she's leaving you, you don't care if you didn't care for. If you're passionate about it, you want to know, baby, why? Let's talk this out. Is there anything I can do? We need the baby, why scenario right now for all reptile keepers.
Yeah, if you truly care for anything, you're definitely gonna fight for it.
Period.
Like I told you behind stage, if you don't, especially with the animals, you're in here. You're in here just either from to gain whatever you're looking for out of social media, or you're just in here to make money off the animals. You know, I did a reel the other day on how not to ship reptiles because I had seen an animal being shipped um, to the state of Florida because I did some investigation, and this animal was in a box that was basically crumbled with a couple pieces of shopping paper and a monitor lizard inside of a pillowcase. There was no structure where it kept the monitor secure to make sure that there was safe travels. Um, and this is where we put two different type of keepers that love the hobby and the longevity of their animals, and keepers that I don't even consider keepers that are just in here for the money. Um, and yes, anything you do when you put your heart and your passion with it, especially if it becomes a business, yes, you will make income out of it. But the first thing that happens on anything you do, you know, a job, a career, the relationship that you hold for anything, it starts with love. It starts with pure love for it. Fall in love with what you do, and see. Man, I just had 2 weeks ago, my possum died. You know, a rescue possum that I had.
Yeah, you know, I that's what intrigued me to you initially was you were
My
on
friend.
King's Live with that possum, and I just fell in love. Yes.
She was a rescue that was very small. That dealt with back conditions. You know, they found her in the road. Her mom was dead. Her siblings were dead. The guy actually was moving the possum out the road, and he seen the pouch kind of move. And with his glove, he took out this baby possum that was dealing with the worst conditions. And I took her in and battled 2 months to bring her back to life. And man, she did so well. And then we did the best we could to provide almost a year and a half with her, and she passed away. Which was sad, but I always kept behind my head that, you know, she dealt with a bad condition as a young baby, that maybe something in the future will affect her. Maybe, you know, with being so young and defected in the street, maybe something wasn't like fully developed, or she wasn't getting so much of this that it affected her in the future. But we did provide the best we could for her, and even though she passed and it was sad, I thank God for letting me have that year and a half with her, that I provided the best service that I could for her, you know. And this is where it starts. It starts with the love for the animals, and how much you love the animals, and that's what we do here. You know, I always tell my wife, I don't plan to be a big breeder. I don't plan to be the best this, best that. I just want to enjoy my service with the animals and provide longevity, and watch these animals enjoy their life. You know, I know we can never replicate what's in the wild, but as long as we provide the best service we can in captivity, which in captivity most of these animals will do better, um, you know, it's an amazing feeling. It's an amazing feeling.
It definitely is. Like I always say, like I just love being home. It's definitely heaven for me. It's my peace. And I couldn't imagine. And so that's why it's easy. So if you don't live in Florida, I think just imagine if it wasn't Florida. Imagine that what happened the other day was at your front door. And if that doesn't fire you up enough to help set precedent that can't happen anywhere else in the United States, it's not much we can do for this hobby. It's not much we can do to make people want to care. But I will make the charge again. There are a lot of breeders who make a lot of money off the animals that are restricted in Florida and the ones that are not. And if you restrict any one animal, all animals can be restricted at any time. What we need to be doing is banding together. And as we said in the beginning, if you are afraid of your government, which I can't comprehend, but if you are afraid of your government, fine. You can go right onto US Florida website and donate. Those donations would help this fight as well.
Right.
If you are afraid of your government, you can donate directly to Mr. Coffee's GoFundMe. If you are afraid of your government, you can support US National with a donation. Don't give the excuse that the people in Florida are afraid. Because first of all, I'm not buying it. I have a lot of friends and family in Florida. and they aren't punks by any means.
There's really nothing to be afraid of. What it is that they don't want their animals to be taken away, and I understand that, but if you don't want your animals to be taken away, join the fight.
That's right. You got to, because what happens is, even though they're not walking in your house today, it can happen tomorrow if you don't fight. And the other part of it is, y'all, that may have been a valid concern the last time y'all had a fight up against FWC. FWC don't want this smoke right now. That's why they're not going public. That's why they're not responding. They're talking to their attorneys too right now. You better believe it, on a whole different level.
It's funny because even FWC right now is trying to contact USARK Florida.
Right, and USARK Florida like, no, we ain't here.
They're not accepting nothing until we go to the legal team.
Y'all on a different playing ground right now. Y'all got them by them.
And this is why everybody, I want y'all to really show love to Daniel Parker. He's head of the news and social team and all that, but this guy is standing there fighting. He is not afraid of those that are throwing the battle at him. He's responding with straight knowledge.
And he's
people know that he's well educated, and he's in the battle zone fighting with us, guys. So I want everybody to hold love and respect for him and know that we got people that care. But we need more people. We need people, the residents. We need the residents out here to say, you know what? This is the reason why I kind of wanted to make, because I'm down to do whatever. So I wanted to make a board, and instead of doing a verbal protocol, I can do a silent protest where I can just have a QR code and just have a picture that makes a statement. Sometimes pictures make attention. They cause awareness. So as long as I just hold myself there with what I believe in, with a QR code, 95% of people will obviously want to be interested. Put that phone, get that. It will go to a website or whatever page. They'll show all the information, even if it's keepers, business owners, law people, medical students, law enforcement, whatever it is, as long as it causes awareness, so we can spread this all around. Right now, the news, this is everywhere. TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, this is everywhere. But only because it's everywhere doesn't mean we got to stop. We still got to continue this and just make sure that if you're preaching out there to people, if you're joining the fight, just make sure you're well educated on what you're speaking. I'm not saying it like an idiot, but don't stand in the battlefield if you don't know what you're fighting for. If you're not educated, you can't defend yourself. Don't, because you're gonna get shut down by somebody, and then it's gonna make you feel bad. Share what you know. Keep it plain and simple. And for those that are feeling angry towards the situation, because I've seen stuff on Facebook, please don't share anything of threats. Don't share anything about, guns and this. I got this to defend myself, because they will use anything against us, guys. Let's just keep it short, professional, and show them that we're not afraid, but we're not gonna we're gonna show that we're well educated, that we're not just ignorant. You know what I'm saying? So just let's not show anything that's gonna put us. Basically, anything that's gonna be used against us. Let's not share none of that. Let's just share the positive things, and let's let their default show for itself. Let them fall by themselves. Let them fall by themselves until we're able to hold everything in a legal way and fight in court and see what the justice team has to say. And I do believe they'll stand by our ways, because you can't see what happened and just let that go. You can't. And I believe that 100%.
Again, to what Elias just posted, because I've seen that too, Elias. What is USARK doing? I don't understand that question. Like, when people ask that question, I don't understand that question. Do you mean, like, what are they doing legally? Well, they're supporting USARK Florida in this lawsuit. Now, we're talking about financially. Yeah, I was going to say, if you're talking financially, they're there as well. But let me just say this. I don't know how much money people think USARK National have or USARK Florida. I think Daniel said the other day that they haven't until recently reached $500,000 or never reached $500,000 until recently. And so to have attorneys fighting on this level, I can tell you that I've had legal battles that is not even this intense that can take a good 80 grand easily.
Right.
Easily.
Right.
And
And
that's
if they don't have the money, everything is going to get pushed back little by little, you know? So, and it's true what you said earlier. Everything in this world revolves on money. Everything takes money. And this is what most people don't understand. This is the reason why people don't want to donate. I'm sorry to say, but people are being greedy. People want everything to themselves. People don't want to fight. People want to stay quiet. And unfortunately, you have to speak, but also put your words into display as far as speak, donate your time, donate your money. I'm not even working, and whenever I get funds and stuff like that, I donate a percentage because I just have to feel like even though I did, I still need to support them in any way. Think about it. We could have 500 people watching a live footage. If 500 people can donate $5 each person, that makes a huge difference right there. We're not asking for millions, hundreds. If 500 people watching and each person donates $5, it makes a huge difference.
And again, I mean, some of it too, you know, we have to be honest, it's just an excuse. Because I'll go back to if only I'm curious what that number would be for US Arc Florida, like their donations. Like how much of that actually comes from Florida residents. I will say, guys, you guys have to be vigilant. Definitely everybody in the Florida who's a pet owner should have donated to US Arc Florida by now or become a member. Statistically, we know that hasn't happened, but it definitely should. I think that one of the things that we're all going to struggle with, and Elias said it best, if the people in Florida don't fight, it's going to deter the people who are not in Florida to support in the fight. So it's kind of like, you know, I'm having dinner. I want you to bring all the food, opposed to I'm having dinner. I cook chicken, mashed potatoes, and string beans. Can you bring the pie? That is how the people in Florida has to take charge. They have to take this seriously first. The breeders in the state of Florida, okay, you don't want to jeopardize your business, but you can donate $100. You know, you can send a payment straight over to US Arc Florida. You can ask them, hey, because some people are in situations where they have attorneys that are pro bono, you know, just based on their relationship. Maybe you can give them a legal link, you know, to an attorney that'll do this for them pro bono, whatever you can. I can just tell you, you always know that with the people with the most money can make the most noise. Right. Especially when it comes to politicians, because I want to address this. It's something else that I've seen on the Florida forums. Our government don't listen. So we all went to student government. They only there because of you. They're only there to be the voice for you. So if they don't listen, they can't hear to speak for you, that's your power. That's your power. You appoint the government. Now, you have no control from what I understand over FWC, because the government appoints FWC, but then you change the appointers. And your reaction now to the appointers is what's going to determine whether or not, if they think they even got a chance 100%. To continue the role that they have, because you are the people. I don't know. And like I said, maybe it's a big disconnect from Maryland and Florida. Those people work for us. I can go right now in my county into Angela Alsobrook's office and tell her whatever I have to say. If she's not there, her assistant is going to have to entertain me. If her assistant is not there, her secretary is going to have to entertain me. It's no closed doors. We run this county, the people.
With taxpayers, they're public workers for us, and they have to put in that work. I mean, it's
you can't be afraid. You just
You can't be afraid. You can't be scared because people are, you can't be scared because people are holding badges, and sometimes you don't even know that you'll stand in front of somebody that holds a badge and you're more educated than them. You're just scared to speak up.
Yep.
You're just scared to speak up.
And again, Jay, I think what's most important is that it's the government. It's the government. Like, it's not like, okay, I get it. You're afraid, I got these animals. Are you keeping your animals legitimately right now today? Because if you are, you could care less. You should care less about them coming in. Like, y'all, sometimes Martin Luther King sacrificed his life. He knew he was going to die, right? And I'm not saying telling nobody go sacrifice, their lives for their animals, but like some people like myself, when it comes to the fight, we are sacrificing our finances. His wife is unemployed. I still have eggs. I don't have snakes to sell to get a flight. We are doing this from our savings. It's the sacrifice that we have to make. I'm sure when I call my husband and say, babe, we're going to Florida, we may book a flight. We're going to Florida in Miami. And I tell him I'm going for a reptile event. Again, it has to be in the back of his head, but he understands my sacrifice. I'm sure he'd much rather be going to Key West to go boating. You know what I mean? So everybody has to make some form of sacrifice in this. I'm a far away from Florida. I'm in Maryland. Who got, like I always say, bigger fish than fried animals. We got murders. Florida do too. That's why I don't understand why everybody's so engaged into this reptile world. We got other things y'all can be working on, but it's not. The reptile part is a big deal. What are we going to do about it? We're going to stand. We're going to stand together. We're going to stand firm. All the questions about what, when, where, go to US Ark Florida website. When I promise you, they're giving us a daily diary of what's happening, the reason, the why, what's next. And if you don't know something, you can post a question and they're going to respond to it. Okay?
I mean, if you don't know, plain and simple, you're not paying attention. Sorry.
Yeah, at the end of the day, because like I said, it's all there.
This is everywhere. This is everywhere. Everybody's talking about it. Everybody's talking about it. If you don't know, then you need to know.
And if you envy a man who lost his animals, so that he's raised up for babies, and if you think $250,000 is some type of gift to him, then you definitely don't know what it is to love. You can take one of them and say, "Hey, Nicole, I'm gonna give you $250 to slaughter your animal in front of you." You don't have
an animal, an animal that was slaughtered by an official that's supposed to be educated and questions, can we save these babies?
Right.
How does that make sense on a snake that had about a month to give birth to these snakes? $100,000 worth of snakes. 50% of these snakes were albino. 50% of these snakes were great pattern and great contrast. The person that actually did the autopsy, Dr. Porcher, I know that guy personally. I've met that guy in person, and I've spoken to that guy. I went through an incident, but I couldn't make it to the hospital on time. That guy stitched me up and everything. Great doctor, great person, educated ball python breeder. He even spoke about how the snake had a good amount of proper fat that actually helps snakes when they're in the wild. As long as they have a good amount of proper fat, they will sustain themselves in the wild and be nice and healthy whenever they can't find or search their proper meal. As a snake big as that size, it's not gonna be like us humans. It's gonna run until we get a meal. The animal doesn't find a meal in a certain amount of time. It's not going to put themselves through that issue to lose fat and a good amount of energy out of their body. So they're going to have beautiful, wonderful snake that was healthy. All other snakes were healthy. We had snakes that were followed on proper protocol, that were microchipped, that the guy even spoke to them about from the year prior of the snake that was supposed to get rehomed and either sold out of state, and he got rid of a certain amount. And then he still followed protocol and called them and let them know that, hey, I still have this amount. And they used the fact that so-called there was a snake that was loose around that area, and they used that to run up in his facility. So once again, I want everybody to show love to Chris Coffey and Bill McAdam.
Yes.
Two guys that ran that facility. And please don't question how much money they need. If you can, donate something to their GoFundMe. Donate, help them. Just imagine if somebody ran in your facility and killed your animals. You would feel hurt, and you would want the help. You would want the help. So let's just show them love and support and pray for their family. Pray for peace. Pray for justice. I know there's some people that are not believers, but if you're not, then just continue to fight. But if you are a believer, I suggest everybody to put prayers out there. Prayers move mountains. And I know that God can make a huge difference, not only in their lives, in our lives. And maybe one day we could shut the justice system down and we could just enjoy what God created without an issue. And I do say from the bottom of my heart, if you are a keeper, just make sure you try to provide the best service that you can for your animals, and just follow things properly, and just show the public that educate is one key. One key. So even if you meet people that don't know, educate them about these animals. Show them that these animals are not as dangerous as they are. Us humans, we get attacked, we have an instinct that we will defend ourselves. Animals have that same thing. All animals are not dangerous, scary. They're gonna kill you. This, and that. Animals are just like us. We're just a different type of animal. So we'll defend ourselves when things happen, and animals will do so too. My daughter's 8 years old, and my daughter deals with ball pythons, boas, leopard geckos, gargoyle geckos, quince monitors, aki monitors. The only thing she doesn't touch is my tokay geckos because those are very dangerous, and I wouldn't want her to get into an issue where she has to get stitches. I just dealt with an issue where I was beat up very bad by a tokay from doing his bioactive all over again. But even though they bite, even though they're aggressive, I love who they are and how they are. I love animals that have that defense mechanism that will show you that I'm this small, but I'll pack a punch. It's amazing what God creates. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And let's just stay focused on the main focus right now, which is to make a difference, spread awareness, donate if you can. Listen, if you don't got money to be a membership for USR Florida, they have free memberships. They have free memberships. You can become a Bros member. I'm a USR member, USR Florida member. And if there was members for other countries and stuff like that, and they're battling through the same thing we're battling, I'll be a member too, and I'll show them love. We had a third of the percentage of the donators that were from the UK. We have UK members that are USR Florida members.
Yep.
Which is crazy. Maybe these people would never visit the U.S. or never step foot over here.
And the impact, though, that's the whole
point. They're fighting alongside of us.
They sell to the United States, so they will benefit from Florida loosening up a little bit.
There's no excuse to fight, guys. There's no excuse. And once again, I said it to many people, I don't stand here for attention. Kayla knows. Kayla could comment right now. Last year, we did a fundraiser for 24 hours. We gained $7,601. When I did that fundraiser, you can ask Kayla. I said, let's kind of break that down real quick. So last year, we did a 24-hour live challenge. There was supposed to be an overnight challenge. This was supposed to be an overnight challenge, and let's see how much money we could raise from this time to this time. Kayla messed up on the flyer and put 24 hours. She sent it to me. I love the flyer. My mind just said, go with it. So I said, no, don't even be upset. Let's do it. We did the 24-hour challenge. I didn't think we was going to raise no more than $1,000. But in my heart, being humbled and happy for whatever, it's provided, I say, even if we make $1,000, shoot, we help in some type of way. We gained $7,006.01. And I was amazed of the impact that happened in 24 hours. That I said, next year, we got to do something big. And we did the 36-hour fundraiser that it made a huge impact. I sacrificed more, humiliated myself for the general public. I had people send me negative comments. People tell me certain things that you wouldn't expect. And were laughing at me. People that were like, oh, get on live and show your bald head. Like, it wasn't even like, oh, get on live and speak about what you did. And I just stand there saying, yo, listen, man, 36 hours of humiliation. You want to talk about my bald head, no eyebrows? Guess what? This is a $10,650 change. You know what I'm saying? And I'll do it again if I have to for another $10,000. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because it ain't go to me. You know what I'm saying? And it's funny because when we first started this, I was telling people, hey, if you want to donate to me, you can, to help me out with what I'm doing. I stopped that. And my mind just said, yo, you know what? Forget about you, homie. Do what you got to do for USR Florida. And my mind just changed on everything, and I didn't care about whoever did anything. I said, let's just do it for them. And as that money kept raising, my heart just got filled with joy. You know what I'm saying? Even though I went through humiliation, the habaneros, which put me through the worst stomach.
It wasn't humiliation. It was fun. It was exciting. Right, Caleb?
Well, when it got to that bathing suit and all that, and being in the underwear and all that, a lot of people were just like, the comments were funny. So I'm not gonna lie to you, it got to a point where I was not embarrassed, but I felt a little like weird. But I kept like putting in my head, bro, it's for the cause. It's for the cause. It's for the cause. And when we finished that, yes, I went to sleep fast because I was tired. But I woke up and I had to go sit in front of that cage because I didn't take in exactly what I want to take in. So I sat for 2 days straight. Like every time I woke up and stuff, I ate breakfast, I sat outside, and I was just taking in what really happened. Like I was really taking it in, and I was like, wow, it was amazing what happened. And I just kept thanking God. I was like, wow, you let that happen. Thank you. Thank you.
That's amazing.
And once again, I'm happy for everybody. Thank you so much, everybody, from the bottom of my heart. You helped make a difference. Yes, a small percentage that came from Florida. It's a little bit upsetting, but we thank everybody that took time out of their day, who enjoyed it, who laughed at me, who was there just waiting for those eyebrows to come off, the waxing, the nose wax, which was, oh man, it was bad.
Yeah, I couldn't have done that.
Thank you for letting me be a part of something that I would have never thought I could be years ago. And from the humbleness and straight up from the bottom of my heart, I truly appreciate everybody. And it's amazing to meet all you guys and have you guys a part of my life. And thank you for even accepting me to come on your show and speaking about what needs to be spoken about. You know, we need a lot of people that's willing to speak up and not stay quiet. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, and again, like for us outside of the state, you know, like the Tims and the Jessicas, and I mentioned, just very verbal. Of course, we can be a little bit more loose at the lips because we're not in the state, right? We have no repercussions that can directly impact us. However, we can do all of that. If you're only going to get 5% interest from the people in Florida to be as supportive, that's going to be a problem for you guys to be successful in Florida.
Shout out to Keys and Ray from Learn for coming through.
Yes.
Appreciate that. It was amazing.
He's being a good team player because that wasn't staged. He had no idea I was going to ask for him to wax anything.
Yeah. He got waxed. He did the balloon challenge. Shout out.
I just said he gonna get me.
It was amazing. You know, they got to come in. Like it wasn't like, oh, I let them through the back door. I told my son, I said, let them through the front door. Let them see the reptile room if whatever they want to see. Because I'm transparent. I'm blunt. You know, like I say, I don't live in the greatest of greatest. But one thing I am is I'm happy for what I have. You know what I'm saying? Right. There's many people that live in third world countries that don't have anything. They don't have food or clothes. And I'm very grateful to have what I have. So everything I have here, I'll share to the world. You know, I share it every day on the live. You know, I don't hide no animals or anything. I hide everything that goes on, the good, the bad. And it's the way we should be. You know what I'm saying? Be transparent, show who you are, let the general public and the world know who you are. And yes, you'll have people that don't like what you do, but, you know, it's to worry about the ones that care about what you do and just keep on going with it. You know? Yeah,
and the reality of it, Jay, is that when you visit third world countries, those people are normally happiest. If you ever watch the kids in Africa, like you can, because they are some excited kids. They don't have on fancy clothes. They are in the dirt up to their neck, and they just. Yeah. I'm like, that is childhood. That's the childhood we used to have, dancing in the dirt. Where these kids today, the way the world is set up, being dirty is not cool. You know what I mean?
I seen what really humbled me one day is I was searching through because I always teach my kids, be appreciative for what you have.
Yeah.
And I was searching through stuff in the web, and I seen I think it was Facebook, and I don't know if it was like Venezuela or stuff like that, but I seen this kid and his mom. She made him like, I'm not saying it in a bad way, but it was a ghetto cake. And the house behind them was tore up. It was like half house, half outdoor they were living. And I kind of got sad because how happy that kid was that he got a birthday cake. And it was just him and his mom. Mm-hmm. And they were dirty. The kids had dirty, ripped up pants and all that. But he had a cake. And how happy he was. And I said, man, we're living in a world where even though we have what we have, we're so ungrateful.
Yep.
And we need to balance that. You know, whatever you have, be be humbled and be happy, because there's people that don't have anything.
Yeah,
There was
and that's all based on life experiences. I always share. I'm grateful for the person I'm married to because our childhoods were different. You know, I always had a mom and a dad, and my dad made sure his kids had everything. It was nothing. I was 12 years old traveling to Cancun, Mexico, before people knew what Cancun was. But my husband had a whole different upbringing. And so, with everything that we've done together in this marriage, what keeps me humble is that he knows what it is not to have. So even times where I might have been a little bougie or, you know, was like, I'm not doing that or I don't want to do that, he will always remind me of where life could be. You know what I mean? And that keeps me humble. Sometimes people don't have the same experiences, so they don't have the same humility. Like, you know, we talked about some of the things that you've been through. I'm not saying that, you know, I've had some challenges, but just not the challenges that affects my finances. I've had losses greater than that, like people, you know, like impacts on my mental health from people I lost and stuff like that. But we all go through something. But I will say the one thing that I've always done is I've gave, and that was something that my father and just the history, you know, of family and being a Black woman who was raised religiously, that, you know, giving is how, you know, you're blessed. And so I've always been one, and it's easy for me to give when I want to give. I don't like begging, but when I want to give, it's easy for me to give. My husband, though, has taught me a whole nother level of giving, and that's who he gives to. And he will give to anybody, anywhere, anytime. And I wasn't like that. I wasn't a person who saw the homeless person on the street without questioning why are they really homeless or they are junkie. And I remember my husband saying to me one time, babe, even if they're junkie, you'd rather give them that $20 and let them go get high than them hitting somebody over their head for $20. And just stuff like that, like thinking of things in a different perspective. You need sometimes other people who have struggled in your life if you never known struggle. And one of the things that I think that we deal with, like when we talk about the government in Florida, you're talking about people who don't know struggle. Those people were never poor in a lot of cases. And so therefore they don't understand what it's like for Mr. Coffee to lose all his animals and what financial burden that actually has on him. And we have to keep all of that into perspective as well. So I think what Jay said was most important. Stop asking the why. We know what happened. And if you have any questions, you can go to US Off Florida Place, go become a member. That way you get alerts to let you know when they update their page and they putting something new. And they're constantly being active on updating us on the current events.
100%.
But again, before, you know, we give Jay his Saturday back, I want to remind everybody we are pulling up in Miami at the next public FWC commission meeting. The tag meeting, from what I understand, is on the 11th, but if you're a resident of Florida, you may want to be there on the 10th as well. If any of this changes, I'm sure, Jay, you will update us, and US Off Florida, of course, will update us. But if any of y'all get any information about any changes in these dates, please keep us informed so those of us who travel from out of town can be informed. I do like the fact that the tag meeting is on the 11th, since it's such a quick visit, and so that way I can kind of enjoy I have stopped going to Miami years ago. I think the last time we went is right before we got married. It was November of 2009 to be exact. So it's going to be kind of cool to see how it's changed and those times, other than the airport. Like, I'm always in the airport, but I'm never outside the airport. It's normally my layover spot to get to somewhere else. But again, Jay, what final words would you want to give to the people?
I mean, just plain and simple. Like, one thing I would say is, first and foremost, thank you for everybody who supported everything we did. You know, I've had a lot of people hit me up and felt were thanking me for everything I did, and it's thank you for thanking me, but thank you for being a part of everything that we've been doing. And one thing is stay educated on what's going on. You know, being a part of USARC and USARC Florida will help you stay engaged with all the laws and regulations that are going on, not only in Florida but in your states. As we spoke earlier, don't be afraid. If you can find any way to be a part of this, spreading awareness, donating, becoming a member, do so. But right now, don't lose hope. Don't lose hope. We are stuck in a little bit of a storm right now, but I do believe that we can overcome this rough situation. And everybody, keep Coffee and Mr. McAdams in your prayers, and let's hope that we can bring peace into their life and their families. You know, and spread awareness as much as you can, guys. Spread awareness. Share this as much as you can. If you can make it to the meeting on the 10th or 11th in Miami, please do so. Um, I will definitely be there. I'm gonna do my best to try to make it both days as I can. I'll definitely be there one of the days that my wife works. I can't drive because of the last seizure I had, so I'm not able to drive till May. I forgot the date, but and even with the conditions I'm dealing with, I'm still trying to fight and be a part of this. And thank you guys for giving me to take time to listen to what I've been saying. Take time for being a part of this fight. And I thank all the people from out of states that donated to the 36-hour fundraiser that are not from Florida. From the bottom of my heart, thank you so much. Once again, we got 5,000 and some change from auctions, but almost half of that fundraiser was just from donations, guys. So that's a huge impact. Thank you guys. Thank you for believing in me. Thank you for giving me the chance to be a part of something that's amazing. Make sure to stay aware with USARK Florida as they post stuff every day, and I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Like I really love this community. It means a lot to be a part of this, and I appreciate you for letting me have some time in your platform to share.
Oh, absolutely. We're going to be riding this out. Like I said, we all are somehow inundated with it one way or the other. I think that one of the things that we're going to have to just remember is to band together, stand firm, stand solid. Don't be afraid. This is your time.
Mm-hmm.
This is your time.
Remember, I think this is what it took for a change. And let's hope that, I mean, it sucks to say because there were some bad things that happened, but let's just hope that this is the reason why things will change. Sometimes in life, even us as humans, we have to go through certain things in life to overcome certain situations in our life to become better. So maybe this is the reason why we will have a better outcome. Let's hope. And let's not be negative about situations. Let's say, oh, we're done. We're not gonna have no fight. Our businesses are gonna be shut down. I'm not gonna be able to be a keeper. I'm not gonna be able to share my animals that I care for in shows. Don't think negative. Let all the negativity go right now. Stay positive. Think positive, and let's just spread as much awareness as we can. But not negative. Don't share anything negative as far as there's people who have posted some stuff like FWC, you can post stuff where it's like, oh, FWC, needs to learn or whatever it is, but nothing that they're gonna use against us. And when we go speak out what we believe, they start putting up pictures and stuff like that, and be like, oh, this is what you have as a general public. It's gonna make us look bad. So let's just stay as positive as possible. Let's stay getting educated and learn. And get ready for this fight, because like I said, there's some law enforcement out there that they're just wearing a badge and they're not educated like us. We're the reptile community. We need to stand together as one. Let's hope that we can make a change in Florida, and some residents in Florida can stand up and fight back with us.
Absolutely. There you guys, you have it. I wanted just to thank you all for who tuned in for this entire time. I thank you all for who tapped in. Just keep the focus, guys. Don't give up. Don't let up. Keep your foot on their necks. You have an opportunity. We have an opportunity because it's a we thing. We are Florida right now, and we got to just be totally focused. And I honestly think that if we can do that, there's going to be something really good that comes out of this. Even if it's something as simple, like one of the things, if they can't keep retics and berms, at least you will be able to ship them out of the state again. And I think that right there is a win, not just for keepers who don't want to euthanize their animals, but also for people who can keep these animals in other states. You know, it's a benefit to be able to accommodate. I always tell people I have a berm who's straight out of your Everglades. The breeder there was licensed to ship them to Virginia, where I got them from the breeder here. They had permits to ship, and I was able to go pick them up. And when I tell you that that berm, my normal berm from out of the wild, is one of the most docile animals I have. He is the chillest eater and everything. He's a perfect, beautiful bird. And I just think the thought of the fact that him and his siblings could have just not be here. And that man was able to find him in a while. Mother was actively giving birth, captivated, raise it up, the babies up to enough so they can be shipped to get them to Brandon, and me be able to get one of mine from there. And it's definitely a blessing to know that, you know, I have one of my babies saved from the Everglades. And I would like to, you know, I would definitely, you know, encourage people to understand, to communicate that on May 10th, May 11th. You know, we're not saying in Florida that, you know, that you guys should be able to keep berms or retics, although I think that you can, but that's easy for me to say living outside Florida. But if you can't, that we should be able to take these animals, and instead of euthanizing them, ship them out to other states where they can be kept. And so with that said, I want to say thank you to Jay. Thank you to everybody in the chat. And we're just going to end it off with our sponsor video, and I will see you all later. Peace.
This episode is brought to you by Beaded by Cedes. Cedes can provide you that flair we like around our waistline. She can provide that in your favorite color, also with your favorite reptile charm. Check out Beaded by Cedes on Instagram and on Facebook. All Maryland Reptile Show has been the longest running Maryland Reptile Show in the DMV area. Thank you for bringing us quality animals for the longest time.